Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have Alisa, Jackie, and myself, Sarah Perochat, on the webinar. Just a few logistics before we get started. We will have a Q&A session at the end. So you have a little icon at the bottom of your screen with Q&A, so feel free to type them in as we go through the content of this webinar, and we'll answer hopefully all of the questions that you have. If we don't have enough time for all of them, we'll make sure that we follow up with every one of you after the webinar. It's also going to be recorded, and we will share the video afterwards, so just for your information. And while we wait for a few more attendees to join us, I see people dialing in, but we will just launch a quick poll in order to wait for a few more people to join us today. So let me see if you can see the poll launching on your screen. You should now see the question. It's around your current level of automation and smart intent status, and I can see people answering already. So you should be able to see the poll question. And I'm just going to start as well introducing the topic of today's webinar, whilst we wait for a few more people to answer the poll and a few more people to join us. So the topic of today is around the power of intent-driven automation, and basically how we use intent classification to decrease the time to resolution and ultimately improve the customer satisfaction. And because it's at the heart of delivering a flawless, frustration-free customer experience, it's understanding what the customer truly needs. And by that, we mean the customer intent when they are asking for help or for support. So HelpShift launched Smart Intents to offer the first truly customer-centric intent classification tool that delivers an AI-guided end-user support experience. And our customers have taken this support automation to the next level already, implementing intent classification. So today we have Alisa. Alisa, you probably know her. She handles all our European customers. She's a senior customer success manager at HelpShift, and I'm sure a lot of you have the pleasure to work with her. And then we also have Jackie with us. She's a lead product marketing manager, and they will both take you through the content of today's webinar. So I'll hand it over to you, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you, everyone who is here on the webinar call. Just to reiterate, we are really looking forward to your questions. We'll have a Q&A at the end. And if there isn't the chance for us to get to all of your questions, we'll also respond to everyone that we have the contact information for. All right, so let's get going. So today's agenda, we wanted to start by just talking through automation and intent classification within the modern support journey, just because there's times where I think folks are not really sure where Smart Intents fits and why it actually helps within the modern support journey. After that, then we'll go through best practices for Smart Intents implementation, what works well, how to get started, some customer success stories, and then just a little bit of information on how you might be able to go further with Smart Intents, and then we'll finish with some Q&A. So without further ado, we get going. All right, so automation intent classification within the modern support journey. So it's important to know that the modern support journey is something that is continually evolving. And I think for a long time, automation or the pressure to automate was not as strong. It's really just something that, was done by the most modern companies. But now, as we know, the trends of quite a bit of churn within the kind of different businesses based on how good your customer experience is, the difficulty in retaining talent within your support team, it's really important to take over this transformational shift that many companies are prioritizing. And where it starts is with this idea of this customer first approach. Many customers today want self-service, and that's why it starts with a guided in-app self-service experience. The next part is where we're going to be focusing, where it's like followed by an intent-driven workflow. That intent-driven workflow is supported by bots that are working behind the scenes 24/7, so you don't have to worry about time zones or whether or not your agents are online. And that continues to reduce the workload for agents. This produces faster response and resolution times and ultimately yields a higher CSAT. And ultimately drives a better customer experience and a great overall impact to a brand's bottom line. And it ends with, if necessary, going to the agent or human assisted work. And then after that, at any point of the journey, we're able to collect CSAT and feedback collection. And it becomes this continuous, very connected circle or loop, if you will. And that's where we kind of differentiate ourselves at HelpShift, is we really care about that customer first experience. So what are our goals? What are we trying to achieve with automation and within this modern support journey? Well, first and foremost, we want a customer resolution that's fast and delightful. Everyone wants a solution and they want to get back to their game, or they want to get back to making a purchase, or they want to get back to finalizing that transaction. And so we want a resolution that's fast and delightful and gets them back in to the mobile app. The next is support is global and always available. It's hard, right, in today's evolving economy to have your support staff everywhere in every time zone, but this helps alleviate that stress to make your support global and always available. The other thing, and this is where Smart Intents comes in, is the customers want to feel understood and supported. They want to feel like the brand is really listening to them or is catering to their needs. And of course, we have to be realistic. We need to have these tools for automation to make sure that we're making an efficient use of team resources, right? You need to be able to balance your agents, your budget on what you can spend with technology. And then lastly, of course, a successful business is growing. And as you grow, you do not want to face some of the issues that other companies have faced. And that is where you are no longer able to handle the needs of your customers. And then you end up having some issues. So support capacity needs to be able to grow with the business. So automation, like I've said, is at the heart of the modern support journey. And it really, you can't just automate everything, right? Anyone who on the call is already automating knows that you have to prioritize. You need to focus on the high volume problem areas, because that's where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. So knowing where those are is very important. You also need to be able to shift and identify with the evolving needs of the customers or of your agents, right? What are improvements that you can see within the workflow? How can you make that better? And that's where you optimize the automated workflow for the most common intents. And then also think about those exceptions. I think that's where we start to differentiate ourselves, is in segmentation, being able to think about what customer you have and what question they need to have resolved, and how do you want them to go through your support experience. And that's where we really offer a personalized and contextual support experience. So let's talk through about Smart Intents then. Why did we build this? So again, like we mentioned, you really need to focus on the most important issues. And so as a brand, we really hope that you should already know why your customer is reaching out for help. But where this takes another level is you need to be able to know what your customer needs. But the sooner you know what your customer needs and you understand them, the sooner you can offer a workflow that is optimized for that need. And Alyssa will explain this more when she goes through the examples, but that's what we're trying to differentiate, because a lot of folks have asked us, well, what's the difference between this and just automation, right? I can create a menu that has my top issues, and that's true. But with each type of automation with Smart Intents, we're using our AI to identify their intent and automatically put them through the correct workflow. And it's a simplified workflow. Without Smart Intents, what you end up having is, even with the best bots, you have a back and forth or a dance of sorts, right? To kind of distill what it is that problem, issue, or area is. And that takes time, maybe only a minute, but it takes time, and it's more kind of back and forth when the customer just really wants a fast, delightful resolution. And so this is what Smart Intents does. It takes the customers from problem to solution in seconds, thanks to these predefined workflows that are tied to the most common specific intents. And our customers have been able to take these automations to the next level by implementing this intent classification at the start of the journey, right? It's at the start, personalized. It draws from a customer's existing identity data, the in-app context, and express intent to surface those most relevant problem types. And once Smart Intents quickly and accurately classifies that intent, then we're able to get to that resolution faster. So Smart Intents, you might be wondering, well, that's a lot to be able to say, but the reality is 90% of support conversations can be categorized into a distinct set of common problems. Not every company is the same, but with the work we've been doing across different types of apps, we do see that there are patterns or trends within each distinct type of customer. So gaming customers, with gaming, for example, we have so many gaming customers. We're even able to distill that down into the different types of gaming examples, right? You can have games, sorry, I'm a little stuck on this one, games that are first-person shooter versus strategy, and be able to see the different types of questions they have. Here we have from our latest benchmark report that I encourage you to read, the automation strategy for lifestyle customers, and see how this is different from gaming, of course. And so we see a few different types of issues, starting with payment related issues. So that's where you would want to focus your automation strategy. You would want to understand, okay, where am I with my data? We would help you build your own intent tree with our AI model and insights, and then see and start to benchmark yourself. Is there a reason why you might be a lot higher, a lot lower on these categories? And if so, how should we evolve or change your automation strategy? This is for fintech customers, and this is based on over 10 customers that we have in terms of what are the highest issues here. And you can see that card questions are predominantly the issue areas that end up having the most requests. And so in this case, you want to focus your automation strategy, your personalization strategy on that bigger chunk before you move on to something like charges. Payment questions also is another area where this is important to focus on. And then we have gaming customers. I put this in again because you can see that this is actually slightly different from that original slide. And that's what we see, right? Customer needs evolve. And not only that, our customers themselves, the brands, get better at dealing with some of these issues earlier in the support journey, right? With the self-serve. So you can see that there are shifts. And so sometimes it's important to know that with these shifts, you can't just set it and forget it. You really need to go back to your data. You need to be able to glean what's changed, to be able to continue to improve the modern support journey. And this is where Smart Intents is helpful, because now you've created a single intent with a single workflow. It's a more simplified change. If you want to, for example, maybe change it from partial automation to full automation, or the other way around, perhaps you think you'll get a higher CSAT if that is something where an agent can come in after being supported by the bot. It's a lot easier to do that when each intention that is already, pulled up by the AI and then confirmed by the customer is then followed through with a simplified workflow, because it's easier then to improve that workflow. When you have larger bots that were a necessity for the last few years, it's a lot harder to tinker with that. So now we're going to see Smart Intents in action within the modern support journey. This is where I have the pleasure of introducing Alyssa Streifler, our Senior Customer Success Manager, to walk us through this. And thank you so much. Give me 1 second to load.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. And look forward to talking you through the demo. So this demo will demonstrate to you the whole modern support journey, of which obviously Smart Intents is a key component. So the modern support journey starts in the help center, where your end users will be able to look for resolutions via self-service. And then as a next step, if an issue needs to be created, they can go into the chat window, and here we can see the Smart Intents menu is being triggered. Now there's 3 options on how you can use Smart Intents. You can either display only the menu without giving your end users the ability to type a question, or as here, you can show the menu and allow for them to type the question. And you've also got the option of only allowing for the question to be typed, and then after the question's been typed, then the menu will be displayed. So here you can see the modern support journey in action. And the idea is really to ensure that your end users are having the right resolution or get to their resolution as quickly as possible, which obviously results in the highest client satisfaction. And that's really the point of the modern support journey, is to ensure that your end users get the right responses and the end resolution as quickly as possible. I think we've still got the final part of it, which is the CSAT question and then the feedback bots, which we're coming to. So yeah, as you can see, works beautifully. So whether it's the self-service at the beginning or the automations together with smart intents, and the final step, which is the feedback, it all works seamlessly and beautifully and gives your end user the best experience. Right, let me now start sharing my screen, and I'm going to talk you through some best practices. Okay. So yeah, the beauty of smart intents is really that it pinpoints you to your end user's issue quicker. So if you think about the scenario without smart intents, you often have this kind of back and forth of questions being asked where, you know, you have a lot of ambiguity. Your end users may come to you with questions that aren't particularly clear. There may be spelling mistakes. You know, there's various ways of expressing a similar issue. But with smart intents, all that kind of back and forth goes away. It's all structured nicely and neatly, and your end users get to choose from this kind of structured menu. And the beauty of that is also that it allows you to really review your automation and your workflows and create simple bot workflows, whether they're fully automated workflows or partially automated. What we've seen in the past is some of our clients who haven't been using smart intents have had very complex bot workflows, almost like trying to recreate what smart intents does. And all that kind of goes away now. You can really simplify your bot workflows working together with smart intents and bots, having the two elements of the modern support journey working together. And from the end user's perspective, time is saved. You know, they get to the end result quicker. They get their responses quicker. And from an improvement perspective, you know, that the simpler the bots are, thanks to smart intents, the easier it is for you to keep those bots up to date. So a win-win for all indeed. And then a couple of new features that we have been launching for smart intents. So this was launched recently, and it's called automatic intent assignment. Now, what it does, it pretty much just gets rid of the smart intent menu. So if you look at the first picture here, you can see that smart intent is triggered. The menu has been triggered. And what automatic intent assignment does, the AI predicts what your end user is going to be looking for, and it pretty much just triggers the workflow without the need for the menu. So the menu step is skipped in this scenario. And then we are also going to be launching a new experience in smart intents in 2023. So this is something that is on the product roadmap for next year. And it's what we call a segmented experience. So if you look at and I know this is quite small text, so my apologies, it's a bit of an eye test. But you can see here, for example, if you have end users in different locations. So here we have EU and UK and rest of the world. So as you can see, there's a separate menu option for end users in EU and UK. And here is another scenario where you may have your free users seeing a different menu to your VIP users. So there's the additional option to get your VIP users to speak to an agent, which is not an option that you would give to your free users. So that is the segmented experience, which is on our product roadmap for 2023. Now let's look at a couple of customer success stories then. So the first example is a European insurance company who came to Helpshift in 2021, and they were using only email and phone for their customer service. And they were only available, the customer service team was only available from 9 to 5. And that created a real bottleneck of issues. When the phone lines opened at 9 o'clock in the morning, there was a huge avalanche of issues coming their way. The agents were completely overwhelmed, and the customer experience wasn't great either. I mean, if you think about why anyone needs to contact their insurance company, it's usually something pretty urgent. So if you, for example, if you're in a car accident or you need to log a home insurance claim at 6 o'clock in the evening, you would have had to wait till 9 o'clock in the evening to get 9 o'clock in the morning to get hold of that agent. And then in most likely scenario, you would have been on hold for an extensive amount of time. So by the time the end users got hold of the insurance agents, it was, oftentimes there was already a couple of days wait, and they were irate. So the agents were also very burnt out, and they saw a high turnover of agents. So they came to HelpShift and they said, look, we really need your help to get us to automate some of those more simple workflows. So we did the whole package, the bots, smart intents, and some incredible results followed. They've now been able to really shift a lot of their issues to fully automated workflows. So releasing a lot of the agent workload to focus on the more complex issues. It's really reduced the handle time, and the customers are able to get to the resolution a lot quicker. A lot of the workflows are still partially automated, where the conversation kicks off with the smart intents menu, and then that guides it through to the bots. But at least the clients are getting some response and some reassurance that they're being heard and their issues are being looked at. So this particular company has been very happy. They also found that when they put together the intent menu, that majority of the issues fall nicely and neatly into 4 of the key intents. So there's only a very few issues that are actually going outside of the intent menu. And as a result, 92% of their issues are created via smart intents. So 92% of the issues all go through the intent menu. So that's an amazing result. And in terms of CSAT, CSAT has just been going up and up and up. The more they rolled out bots and smart intents. So they came to us, I believe it was in September 21, and we just immediately started rolling out bots and smart intents. And as you can see, by January 22, we were at 4.25 in terms of CSAT. So a really good result there. And the other client is a mobile game publisher who had been with HelpShift before rolling out smart intents. So they were already a customer of us from previously who were using bots, but they were really looking at ways to reduce operational headcount. So they found that they were continuously having to recruit more agents to keep up with the issue load. And they really wanted to focus on the high value players and focus on the quality of service all around. And they rolled out smart intents, and the results were really incredible. So all of their key KPIs improved. So the human time to first response went down. We saw a really big improvement there. Average handle time and time to resolve, big improvements there. And for agent performance, so we saw that firstly, the number of issues, the number of messaging, so the kind of back and forth, the kind of jumble of issues before you actually understand what your player's intent is, that went down by 21%. And agent online time went down, so the agents were no longer having to work all kinds of hours. They were able to work within their assigned hours. And then the issues assigned to agents went down as well, because we saw that with smart intents, the bot flows, because those issues were categorized correctly, the bot flows were kicking in as needed. And as you can see, the return of investment increased 4 times with some incredible monthly savings. So some really good results there as well. Going further with smart intents. So of course, if you're rolling out a new feature, you need to be able to monitor how it is actually performing. And as a result, we obviously have rolled out some analytics that you can access. So we do have reports that show you the CSAT, how CSAT's behaving for each one of your intents, the time to first response, time to resolve, and how the smart intents are performing all in all. So you'll be able to make some tweaks and adjustments if needed. And then taking advantage of language tools. So this is unique to HelpShift, but you will not need to retrain smart intents for each language. Just giving training samples in English means that you can roll it out in multiple languages. It's up to 10 languages at the moment that we support smart intents in. So yeah, that's also available to you. And we have a number of clients. I mean, as Jackie was saying, I look after the client base here in EMEA. So a number of my clients are already using smart intents across multiple languages, and it's working beautifully. Jackie, do you want to talk about the upcoming webinar?
Yes, we have an upcoming webinar in December 6th. This is from the head of player support of Social Quantum. They'll be walking through a more in-depth version of the modern support journey and how they've been able to achieve 4.5 CSAT while resolving 2 times the industry average of their tickets per agent. Sarah, is there anything you'd like to add?
Sure. In fact, so we will be deep diving on each of the parts of the modern support journey. And in terms of the smart intent, they have more than 75% of all their tickets that are classified with smart intent. So they are a very good client to join for that session. They've been awesome at using all the latest features of HelpShift. So they are very early adopters and always trying out all the latest innovations. So they're going to be showcasing a lot of the things that they do with HelpShift. So don't miss out this session. Should we launch the Q&A section now?
Yes, that sounds good.
Perfect. So yeah, we had quite a few questions coming through. I answered a few through the chat and I shared the benchmark report because that was one of the questions. So you've got the link in the chat for the benchmark report. There's another question that came in around, do you guys do working sessions or assisted setup for smart intents and for automation bots?
I can take that one. So I'm not sure who that question's from, but if you're an existing HelpShift customer, then yes, we can certainly help you. I would recommend that you reach out to your customer support manager, success manager. So if you're one of my clients, then reach out to me. If you don't recognize me, then it's most likely going to be one of my colleagues. But yeah, just let your customer success manager know, and they'll be able to set you up with the right team who can help you with that.
Perfect. Thank you, Alisa. And yeah, I think it was from one of her clients, so I'm sure they'll contact the CSM. Another question that came in throughout the webinar, how long does it take to get smart intents running, and if we are already automating with HelpShift?
It's a bit of a how long is a piece of string question. There's no real set of timeframes that we've observed. I mean, it can be done really quickly, especially since we've got the templates that are already available. So we've got templates for the gaming industry, for fintech, and I believe for retail. So those templates can really help you get up and running quite quickly. And it's pretty self-explanatory. We've got a lot of guidelines and guides that you can use to get up and running. And we've seen companies who've just got up and running on smart intents really, really quickly. If they've been rolling it out with, like, for example, I've got a couple of clients who roll it out into a new game. I believe it was in the matter of days. So it's all available in the dashboard, and you can just set up the first level and second level intents really quickly. So yeah, it's really simple to use.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We've got another question. Is it possible to segment types of users while using smart intents?
It isn't yet, but that's coming up into 2023. So that is on the roadmap.
Okay, perfect.
But you can't necessarily segment within intents. But what you can do is create Alyssa, correct me if I'm wrong, but the CIFs to be able to identify if someone's a VIP user, and then via the workflows, you're able to do some segmentation after the intent.
Oh yeah,
has been
after the intent, if yeah, but the type of segmentation that I showed in the previous slide, I didn't know if it was a question regarding that, or if it was whether you can segment the bot workflows. But yeah, so you can segment the bot workflows as Jackie said, but if you want to do the kind of segmentation where different users see different smart intent menus, then that's going to be available next year.
That's very exciting, though. As far as I know, no other platform is able to do either of those two things.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Perfect. And I think that's it in terms of the question. I've asked the audience to see if there was any final questions, but so far we haven't received anything else. So I don't know, Jackie or Alisa, if you want to wrap up the session.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, Jackie.
No, I was just going to say, I think the only other thing we'd like to know is for that small percentage of folks on the call who are already automating and already using smart intents, is just understanding if there is a desire to go into more depth on how to even get more out of smart intents, and those things that we talked at the highest level of having more simplified workflows and testing different types of changes. We would love to hear from you if that's something you'd like to learn more of. And thank you to everyone, and thank you to Alyssa, and especially Sarah, for helping moderate and get this webinar going.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Jackie, and thank you for everyone who joined.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
So how do we stop it from recording? We just go to stop recording.